Essentially, let's say the inherent contempt resolution passes, that means that the House Sergeant at Arms would arrest Garland, correct?
It means that the House of Sergeant at Arms has the authority to arrest him. However, likely what will happen is he will go get him and bring him and ask them to bring the tapes. And ultimately, also Congress reserves the right to hold him, probably at the Speaker's office until he does so. So I think a lot of people are trying to say that this is some crazy, radical, extremist viewpoint perspective. But actually, if you look at the cases that exist, even up into the early 1900s, this was done commonly for people that thought that they were above the law. So my message is to Garland, you are not above the law. My message is to Joe Biden, you have no authority over Congress. This was a check and balance that our founding fathers put in place for good reason. And unfortunately, we're having to use it today. However, you will be held accountable.
The criminal contempt resolution, Speaker Johnson's whipping up votes, I believe, right now because there is such a slim majority. Do you think that the inherent contempt resolution will pass because the criminal one's having a little bit of trouble right now?
Well, we're going to see. In fact, we have a letter that we're explaining everything, going into detail, the court cases, the legality of it being held up in the Supreme Court. That's going to be going out to our colleagues after this vote hits the floor. So we'll see what happens. But either which way, when someone violates a subpoena, you're seeing that right now many of Trump's allies are actually in hot water because of that, because of stuff that was sent out by the J6 committee. And so if you have someone that's violating a subpoena, not one, but two, and thinks that they're above the law, trying to essentially protect the president, i.e. Biden, who very much so may have a cognitive issue, that can't be tolerated. And so I think that our argument is very valid, and we are going to be actively talking to members that might be on the fence, answering questions. And I do think that this will likely pass, especially if the DOJ does not do their job.